Hello everyone, welcome back to the second part of the rotoscoping skills series in Madlux VFX. Today's tutorial we are going to learn how to do rotoscoping on a defocus subject in a shot. I'm not going to jump into the basics of how cinematographers are filming a defocus shot or what all are the camera properties for a defocus shot. So today we are going to see some of the tricks which I follows when I get a shot for rotoing a character or an object which is in defocus. So there are certain things which I learned from my experience. I'm just making a video about that. So I hope this tutorial is gonna be super useful for you guys. In this shot you can see there are a lot of circle kind of shapes which is known as bokeh, and these shapes are completely dependent upon the shape of the lens which is used for filming, and this can vary from shot to shot or movie to movie on the basis of the lens which is used for the filming. So in this shot I have already drawn a shape here. So how I match this shape with this roto is I have created a layer for this shape, and also I have added some feather for this soft edge, and also added a blur of 7 for the layer. Now you can see there are a lot other shapes in the shot which are kind of circle as well. So I'm going to copy this shape and I'm going to paste with this shape. I'm going to scale this a bit. Okay, as all these shapes are circle, matte should match both the shapes, right? So let's see the matte. Okay, now you can see this shape is not matched, but this shape is completely matched. So we have to match this shape separately. So I'm going to copy this layer, and so this is my second shape. I'm going to keep second shape inside the second layer. So layer 2 needs much more blur, so let's give it a value of 35. Let me give a value of 30. This is kind of okay. So in the same shot you can see there are two different kind of shapes. I mean the shape is completely similar, but the blur value is completely different. So always remember, when there is a defocus in a shot, we have to layer up the shot according to the depth, according to the camera depth, I would say, and we have to keep the shapes which is there in the foreground of the shot should be kept in a layer named as foreground, and the shape which is there in the midground or in the mid depth of the shot should be kept in a separate layer, and also the shapes which are there in the background which might be in defocused should also be kept in a different layer. So this layer concept is really important when you are doing a defocus shot. So I hope you understood this trick here. Always layer up the subjects in a shot according to depth from the camera. So now we will move into another shot. So here in this shot you can see the character in the background is completely defocused or blurred. It's very hard to make out the edge and draw a complete shape for the hand and legs and all. So in these cases what we'll just do an articulate roto for this character. Supposing there is a character there and his leg is here, he should have wore a shoes here. So I will just imagine the shapes and I will just draw according to the anatomy. This is a character, so of course we knows what is the anatomy of a character. I'm going to draw a shape here. Let's suppose this is leg. So here we go. Here we have the leg shape. As this is a single frame, I'm just going to draw a single shape for his leg. If there is a movement in for his leg, you can split the shape accordingly. Even though the shoe is not visible here, I'm just drawing a shape for the shoe. This is the proper way of doing rotoscoping. So now you can see a proper leg kind of shape here. So let's suppose the shape is finalized. Now we need to match the blur. So this is the second concept which I'm going to teach you guys. When the shape is done, let's layer it up. So this is the shape which is there in the background. Now we are going to blur this. So what basically blur does inside Silhouette is it will just push the edges both towards the outwards and inwards as well. So now I'm going to give a blur of 20. This is more, but I'll just show you a blur of 10. Or let's suppose a blur of 6. Now our shape is here. You can see the blur has been pushed inside as well as outside. So this is also known as the 50-50 concept which I explained in the last tutorial. Now let's see if we match the shape over the input. No, we still need much more blur in this shot. Let's give a value of 50 and see. This is more, so let's give a value of 25. This is somewhat matched. Now you can see the shape is completely matched. right? You can see even in the color comp mode, you can see the hard edge is there, and even the blur is matched somewhat. Of course, this is not an articulate roto, this is just for the tutorial purpose, so I hope you understood the concepts here. So this is yet another method of matching the defocus, just giving a blur, and in the blur itself we have different types of blur which I'm going to explain in another shot. We have inner blur, we have outer blur as well, so we're going to explain these concepts later. So let's move into another shot. Here we have an object in the foreground which is very defocused, I would say. You can see the BG background till here, or the edge. Yeah, here we have the core edge, and till here you have the defocus edge. So you can do as the way which I just told you. Just take a roto node and just draw a shape guessing the middle of core pixel and the last pixel. Let's suppose this is the shape of the face, and let me give a blur value. So if you want, create a layer and keep it this inside, and let's give a value of 35 and see how it's matching. This is not enough, so let's give a value of 60. Okay, this is almost matched. So now we feels like the blur is matched, but the reach is not there. So at this point of time we can think about some other properties as well in the spline properties, not in the layer properties. If you just click on this spline, you can see the spline properties. Over there you can see the same blur properties and the blur type, center, inner, outer. Also we have shrink, grow, opacity, stroke width, and all these things. So I'm going to increase the shrink width by 1 or much more, 5. So you can see the difference here. Just increase it to 10. Now you can see the blur itself, it is matched. Also the reach too matched here, because we didn't completely rely only on blur. We can just give a proper blur value in the layer properties, and you can use these spline properties for extra adjustments like shrink, grow, blur, opacity, and all these things. So this is yet another way for matching defocus stuff. And yep, this is another shot. So in this shot, let me take a roto node. So in this shot you can see two different type of defocus edges here. Here you can see the normal defocus edge which we discussed earlier in other shots. Over here you can see which is kind of a sharp edge, but this is a defocused object as well. So we should do something different here to get maximum input when we do roto here. So what I used to do basically in this kind of circumstances is like I will just draw in the last pixel. This is just a rough roto here. Never draw a shape like this. You have to split the shapes according to the anatomy which I discussed in the last tutorial. So here I just drawn the shape on the last pixel of the defocus, and let's keep this inside a layer. You can simply go inside this properties of layer and keep it inner, and keep the blur type as inner, and just give a value of give it a value of 15. Now you can see the effect is much more subtle than the normal blur. If you feels like the edge is missing by 2 pixels, you can just go into the spline properties and just give a value of 3 maybe. This is more, so a value of 2, and the edge is completely matched. So let's check the color comp. You can see the transparency is still here, and in the input also the transparency is still here. You can check that, I guess. Even you can just decrease the inner blur if you wish. Let's keep it like 12, and the effect will be much more subtle. So this is yet another way of matching defocus over sharp edges or the areas where lighting is much more harsh. You can follow the same procedure which I taught you in the last few shots for this edge, but not in this edge. This edge needs much more precise defocus value. In most cases it will be matched with inner blur, and a combination, I would say a combination of inner blur as well as the tweaks in the spline properties. So this is yet another way. Okay, in this shot you can see a different scenario here. I'm going to take a roto node here. Let's take a roto node. Okay, you can see the defocus in his hand, and you can see a kind of cut feeling here, right? When you're doing rotoscopy, never put a roto. I see many juniors or many people works like this. So as this is not a sharp kind of defocus edge, I can just draw a shape in middle of the core pixel and the last pixel. So I'm going to draw a shape here. I'm not going to draw a shape like this, okay, because you cannot see a human hand in this form right? So always make sure you are following the anatomy of shot, and this should be the shape for this edge. Let's keep this inside a layer and let's give a value of 15, maybe more than that. Sorry. So this is almost matched. So never just draw a shape according to what's visible in the shot. Just try to follow the anatomy of the object whichever you are drawing. Okay, moving into the next shot. Okay, here we have a different kind of defocus, and you can see the defocus is traveling from one edge of the shot, or let's suppose in this shot you can see over the screen right, you can see complete defocus in the object. And so in this shot what you can do is like you can split the shape or a mix up of all the techniques which I taught you in this tutorial. So I'm going to take the roto node and I'm going to draw a shape here. So I'm going to split the shape according to the anatomy of the gun. Never a gun will be like this, right? So gun has its own shape. I'm going to draw a shape like this here. I'll just extend this shape a bit here. I'm just drawing it roughly here. So let's suppose this is yet another shape. The objects which have much more defocus should be kept in separate layer. The object which are having less focus should be kept in separate layer as well. So here we should follow the layer concept, the depth from the camera concept. And yeah, as usual, just blur the value according to the defocus value. And so let's suppose here in this shape I'm giving a value of like 35, no, 70. And for this let's give a value of 35, and for this a value of 20, maybe much more than that, or just tweaking a shape little bit. So now you can see the defocus is there, but you can see a cut kind of feeling here. So always make sure to just extend this shape inside, or just match a shape according to the anatomy. Now you can see in the color comp, you can see the exact kind of defocus in the shot. Defocus is less comparatively to the screen right. It is very less in the mid ground of the shot or nearby his hand, and it's much more sharper over the screen left of the footage that is with this character. So this is yet another way of doing defocus roto. Now if we are not able to match in any way inside silhouette, my best idea is just take a roto node and just draw a shape. So let's suppose this is my shape for this car. Now I will just adjust the feather according to the defocus. So this is yet another way of matching defocus using feather. So these all are the techniques which I follows for matching defocus. I hope you learned something from this tutorial. Please like the video and subscribe to Madlux VFX for such awesome content, and also please try to comment down your doubts as well as like if you have any feedbacks to improve my content. Till next tutorial, it's Manu signing off. Bye bye.